What's up, everybody? This is Peter again for Sports Hot Rumors and Debates. And before I jump into this, I just want to thank the Arizona Sports Fan for having me on this live stream about an hour ago. That meant a lot to me, and I appreciate all you guys who subscribed because of that. More, I appreciate you being there. Also, you guys are awesome. Thank you for having me. It meant a lot. I'm in New York, man, and I am a diehard Diamondback and Cardinal fan, and I guarantee you I'm probably the only one here. So it's great to have you guys there and to talk, and hopefully I can continue to do it more and more. With that being said, we are less than 24 hours away from the draft, okay? I want to tell you a nice story about the Arizona Cardinals and Steve Keims last year, because Steve Keims was a guy who, let me kind of translate it to you. This man was walking into a casino with all his money left, saying, I'm going to put it all on one chip. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, I'm gone. Because he was ready to be gone. So let's go back a year, right? This guy said, let me get a coach who doesn't have much experience with winning into the NFL, and he's a young guy, right? Let me get a quarterback who was supposed to play baseball, who was undersized, instead of keeping my guy Rosen when we clearly didn't have an offensive line where it wasn't all his fault. Just for the fact that, you want to know why? He knew he needed to make something happen quick. He knew that those guys had talent, but it was a risk. But you know what? Sometimes you have to risk it all. And that risk paid off a lot. And I'll tell you why. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury together are awesome. Their record does not show how well they did together. Okay? And I mentioned in the live stream, Brett Hundley played really well. It just goes to show you how good Kingsbury offense can be. Okay. Now you fast forward a little bit later into the year. And this man picks up Drake, okay? This man picks up Drake, okay? Kenyon Drake was a guy that nobody paid attention to because he was on a crappy Dolphin team. Arizona seen something in him, and this guy is probably, if he stays healthy, knock on wood, our running back for the next 3-4 years, hopefully, if we can get an extension for him, because I love him. I really do. He plays with toughness, he can catch, and he fits the Arizona offense perfectly. Now, all of a sudden, this guy again, Steve Keims, went from about to lose all his money in the blackjack table, right? So all of a sudden, now he said, you know what? I got Kyler Murray, I got Kingsbury, I still got Larry, helping the team out, but now I got a guy like Drake. So I fixed my quarterback position, I fixed my running back position because David Johnson can't stay healthy, okay? And I fixed my head coach position. Fast forward to this year. This man makes the trade of all trades that nobody's seen coming. I know I didn't. He comes out and gets DeAndre Hopkins. Not only gets DeAndre Hopkins, gets rid of David Johnson's contract at the same time. Okay? Now you got a guy who's probably the best receiver in football. Okay? And you got rid of a running back who wasn't working out for you at that point. Okay? Now he's starting to stack up more and more chips at this table, right? Whatever you want to say, blackjack, whatever you want to say, roulette, whatever you want to say. He's stacking everything up now. Okay, all of a sudden his GM position is not looks like anymore where you're like, all right, he's not on the hot seat anymore. It's cooling off. So what do? You start coming into this draft. You've seen that the San Francisco 49ers are awesome. You've seen that Seattle Seahawks are really good. So what do? Why would you stop and just get an offensive lineman to be safe? Why? You have come so far in stacking up and taking risk. You don't know when you are going to have this chance to get the 8th pick again. You don't know when, okay, or how, if your guys will stay healthy, right? Kyler got hurt last year, so you cannot sit there. Football is not a game for father time. Football gets you out very quickly. So when you have a chance, you take the chance. And what got you there is you took risks. You have to take risks in this game. This is no time to be conservative. So if Simmons falls and you choose him over CD, I get it. I am not going to be miserable for that. I'll be happy. I want CD more than anybody, right? And I've said that a million times. It's one or the other in that situation to me. If you decide to go with Wirfs or if you go with Wills, what you've done is you're taking your winnings and you're saying, I'm just going to stay here right now and let's see what happens just to be safe. And I don't like that, because you don't know what's going to happen after that. In this game and in this division that we're playing in, you need impact players. Players that are going to change the game. And if you don't get that, you're going to be like the Green Bay Packers, who just continue to have a guy like Devontae Adams and a bunch of no names around them. And now Larry Fitzgerald is still there, so it's great. But what about when he goes? Do you remember what DeAndre Hopkins had to go through when Fuller was hurt? That's what he'll have to go through with Arizona if Kirk and then somebody doesn't step up. So what would you do? That's a very quick one injury away from somebody where DeAndre Hopkins all of a sudden gets double teamed, and all of a sudden Steve loses his job, Kingsbury loses his job in a few years, and everything has to be blown up again. That's how quickly things can happen. And anybody who watches football knows that's how fast things can happen. You know, look real quick a few years ago about Marcus Mariota. Who the hell expected Ryan Tannehill to take over the Titan job like this? Who's seen Derrick Henry playing like this? You know? Who's seen Lamar Jackson being this quarterback? But you know what? Lamar Jackson played so damn well, but look what happened. All of a sudden, things change, right? So you need to make sure you build around and you build back up more and more and more. You cannot just be conservative. Conservative will never get you to win. Anybody who gambles conservative, don't tell me you're a winner. You know damn well you'll never win being conservative because the house always wins, right? You just can't do that. So you got to be able to know when to put all your chips in. And again, I'll mention really fast about impact players. Guys like Simmons and CeeDee Lamb come up once in a while, okay? Those are the guys who are able to change your franchise. I mean, change them for the long run, 5, 7 years without injury. Other players like offensive linemen are really good, but they're not going to change your franchise. What I've seen before is teams do really well 1 year or 2 years, and all of a sudden, you don't hear from them in a long time. Look at the Bengals. Do you remember how many times they couldn't just win in the playoffs? They got there a bunch of times and they just couldn't do it. And every year you're like, all right, maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year that things are going to get better. And they just didn't. Now they have the number 1 pick. Right? You can't take this for granted. You can't take this time for granted. You have to make sure you capitalize on every single thing. I'm going to mention the Green Bay Packers really fast. It's not too long ago that everyone was looking at Aaron Rodgers and saying, he's the best quarterback I've ever seen, or at least one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Getting older now, right? To me, it's not just that he's getting older. He is getting wasted away with just having one receiver. What would Rodgers have done if he had playmakers for him? Do you think he'd be missing the throws? He has nobody helping him. It can't just be Devontae Adams, and it can't just be DeAndre Hopkins and expecting Larry in his mid-30s to just do it. It just can't be, right? Green Bay has a really good running back in Jones. Green Bay has a really great receiver in Devontae Adams and one of the most amazing quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers. Can you explain to me why that's not enough on offense? Yes, because you need more and more players. Okay? You need more and more players. Okay? You got to make sure you have everybody fall into a spot. And I'm going to end it here. If you're playing any sport, you want to talk about baseball. If right now, you want to talk about the Diamondbacks, you're talking about Madison Bumgarner. By signing an ace, everybody falls back into their spot. Okay? If you have, for example, a number 2 or number 3 pitcher by talent-wise, and that's all they are, but they're really good, but not an ace, and you don't have an ace and you put them in the ace position, what's going to happen when they go up against an ace? They're going to lose probably 3-1, 4-1, and your record at the end of the year is not going to look good for that pitcher. But honestly, it's not his fault because you're putting him in the wrong position, right? You need to get guys who fit their position. And when you surround other players, it brings out the best in everybody. The 49ers last year, and we were just talking about this, the Arizona sports fan, and we just were saying how Bosa could have went to the Cards. Remember, everyone was like, no, get Bosa, get Bosa, get Bosa. What would have he done for the Cardinals? Would he have made the same impact that Kyler Murray made? No, absolutely not. The reason he fit so well for the Niners because they are really good on defense, and he was surrounded with talent. When you surround somebody with talent, everything changes. So my answer to you guys is you can never have enough of this talent. You need positions, yes. You can always pick it up or fill or trade. But when you have a chance to go for it all, you take all your chips and you do it. Because this game is not, you never know. You can't be too much. You have to go for it when you can. And I think Steve Keims has to go for it tomorrow in either Lamb or Simmons if he's there. Those are the only two I'm looking for. That was my thing for you guys before the draft tomorrow. I much appreciate it. I'm sorry if I rambled on for a little bit, but I'm so geared up for talking for a while, and I'm excited about the draft tomorrow. So I appreciate all the subscribers, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.